Hi, Jennifer Kinzel here, Fox Valley Homes, Charles Rutenberg Realty of Illinois. How are you doing today? So today we're talking a little bit about first-time buyers and budgets. And a lot of times it's a tough choice to make on how to save for a down payment, for example. A lot of people are already paying rent and they're familiar with, a security deposit. So making the decision to save for a down payment on a home is a big one. So let me break it down to you like this. It's sort of like if you're going to, before you go and get a puppy, let's try it out with a houseplant. Now, if you can keep the houseplant alive for a year or more, hopefully, then your long-term commitment could be there for a small dog, like a puppy. It's the same thing with committing to doing a down payment amount to put aside that money, week in, week out, year in, year out, no matter how long it takes. Are you committed to making that home ownership a goal? I remember when I was still back in college in the day and making no money, and got out of college, I was working 3 jobs, and there was never money left over at the end of the month. I didn't care, how many ramen noodle packs I had to eat. There was just no money left over. And it really wasn't until I got a little older and realized I'm sick of ramen, first of all, that I wasn't paying myself. I was really denying myself the fact that I was working really hard to make money that went to everybody else before me. So my priorities shifted. Once I realized ramen noodles are just not cutting it anymore, and working 3 jobs wasn't cutting it anymore, it just made all the difference in the world as far as shifting my priorities from one end of the spectrum to the other. And, maybe wisdom with age, who knows? But that first year of making a budget was one of my goals, and realizing where my money was actually going was a big step forward, because I wanted to whittle down working 3 jobs to hopefully just one that paid all the bills, but I needed to know where the bills were first. So my first section of advice would be, write it all down. It's a pain in the butt. I know nobody likes to write a budget. It's always negative. It sucks because all the money goes away, but at least then you'll track it. So then the next month you'll know, oh yeah, there's another bill coming for that. So you'll be more prepared. So my second tip is, after you make the budget, which really stinks, is paying yourself first. So if you flip the whole script around, and instead of saying, well, there's a whole $1 left at the end of this month, put the $1 to the top of the list and say, I'm paying myself that $1 this month, or next month I'm paying myself $10, or the next one after that I'm paying my whole self $20, and make yourself a priority. Because if you don't do it from the top down, it never works. You just can't find the money at the end of the month. It's got to come at the top of the list. The first priority's got to be paying yourself. And that's another way to shift, go from the budget, making yourself the priority. And of course, as we talked earlier about, getting the house plant as a test, the emergency fund. Now, if you've got your budget and you prioritize your paying yourself, you've got to have an emergency fund. Now, the kicker with the emergency fund is it works only for you. And it only works when you need it in case of an emergency, which, I think the number is, less than 40% of Americans can withstand a crisis and a budget crunch at $400. I mean, we've got to do better than that. So if you can't imagine seeing your way through on an emergency fund of at least, $500 to get you through, a busted tire, or, you have to go to a doctor and pay out of pocket, or whatever the emergency comes up as, how are you going to be able to afford a home that's going to have a leaky pipe, or your furnace goes out, or, a window, it gets broken? Yes, you've got homeowners insurance, but in the meantime, you're going to have to, cough up the bill to cover that expense. So that's like testing the waters. If you can come up with an emergency fund as you're currently renting, then you're going to have more ducks in your rows as far as being a responsible homeowner when you have to go and dig in deep to fix the house if something comes up. Because nobody wants to be without heat in the middle of January in Chicago. It's just, you gotta have heat. It's one of those things. So the last one I would say, after you've done your making the budget, prioritizing yourself, and then growing your emergency fund, is really the big ticket items. I've read all these guru books oh, skip a latte here. Oh, skip this here. Oh, skip that there. You know, if you've gotten your budget already in line and you're paying yourself first because you are the most important thing on that list, everything else kind of falls to the wayside. And the big ticket items, nobody's going to care as far as if you're skipping the latte or not skipping the latte. Me personally, I make coffee at home. No big deal. I also drive a car that's 10 years old and paid for. I love it. It's my best, investment. I never have to worry about a car payment. If somebody scratches the door, I don't care. The kid's thrown up in the back seat. Just clean it up, move on, Kids are why I don't have nice things, actually. But in general, the big ticket items, how much you spend on a car payment, if you didn't have that car payment, you'd be paying yourself first, wouldn't you? I mean, $300, $400, $500 a month in your pocket every month, you'd have a down payment saved up in record time for a house payment, if that's your goal. So those are my 4 items that I would do. I would make the budget. I would pay myself first. I would have the emergency fund ready to go. And I would really make some tough choices about big ticket items if I'm going to keep up with the Joneses or if I'm going to have $500 extra in my pocket every month. That's a no-brainer for me. I like having the extra $500 or $300 or whatever your car payment currently is. Because even in the best interest rates, money going out on an asset that's losing value every month, it's just not going to ever pay you back. That car is just going to get old and rusty and need repairs and oil and gas and all that fun stuff. And it's a money suck. So if you can eliminate the money sucks and at least the car payment front, more power to you, because then you can add that to your top number on paying yourself first, right? So that's my take on first-time buyers as far as how to reprioritize you to get your budget in line to make home ownership and that very necessary down payment to get it all together. So let's talk soon. If you've got ways that you've been saving money, let me know. Thanks.